Hello, YouTube. Oh boy. I have been trying to deal with the bathroom floor leak. As I know some of you are saying, fix this is urgent. Yeah, kind of. But it's actually kind of under control right now, in the sense that it has dried out. It's not leaking anymore because, of course, I disconnected the city water. You know how it has the hose? I've disconnected that, so it's set up right now to run off the water tank. The holding, oh, I can see a spare tire. I have a spare tire here. That's nice to know. But this is what it looks like underneath. There's not much to see down here. Except there's some kind of, it looks like some kind of release right there. I don't know if you can see that pipe right there. There's a little pipe. I wonder what that is. There's some kind of relief valve down there, but what was a valve? It's some kind of release. It looks like a tank release overflow or something, but it's capped off, so I don't know what's up with that. But I do know you can't access it from under here, from looking at what is actually underneath. There's like a solid metal panel. So the RV has a solid metal floor underneath the, I guess there's a framing and the wooden floor. So, sadly, it looks like the only real way to address this issue, it would be to rip the floor up, which I don't want to do. At this point right now, I think that's going to be the proper fix. You can see here I've got a little bucket here to catch the dripping. Oh man, it's splattering everywhere. But I've got a little bucket here to catch the dripping water from the air conditioning vent. It is dripping, I think, from condensation, not from... let me get a towel and throw it here. Keep the floor from getting soaking wet. It's splattering everywhere is what's happening. But this is splattering here, so we will dry that off. But the flooring here is dry as of this moment. It's been dry for the last week or two. I know you think that's mold. It's not. It's still stained. It's just wood stain. It's all dried out now. It's been dry since I disconnected the city water. So we're going through just the tank. You know, I use the city water to fill up the tank, and I've been running it like that, and it seems to be fine at this point, so I may leave it like this, because the proper fix to this is going to be to rip out this whole floor. And one of the viewers, I think Betty's Class C, suggested removing this panel, which, if I unscrew this, then I think you have to unscrew the whole assembly here. You're going to be taking, because there's a heater vent here. So under here, there's some kind of heating. But where the leak was, where I think it originated, is somewhere along here. You can see the really wet spot here. And then it was running down. So it was like this area right here. I suspect that the leak was right here around the center, right here where we saw the biggest spot. And I suspect there's a pipe or a hose under there that was squirting up. You know, like one of the joints was loose due to the water pressure from the city water. But with the city water unhooked, the pressure is not enough for it to leak up. But I don't see a wet spot underneath. May have to go back again underneath on the other side to try to look. But I tried earlier and I couldn't really access it. All you could really see was the axle and the metal. So if it stays dry like this, I may just leave it and say that's off limits for now, because the real fix is going to be to rip up this entire bathroom. You see, there's not much room here, and I can try to cut this panel, which I may have to do. I know Betty said to remove this panel. She thinks the leak is coming from the wall of the bathtub right here and running down. So, but I'm looking at the heater vent. It would not make sense to run water right next to the heater vent. I would think it's running on the floor to come up into the sink and everything else. So it could even be further. It might not, you know, water, where you see the water leak may not necessarily be where it's leaking from. That's where the water is flowing to and where you see it coming out. Now, the reason it took so long to dry this floor out was there was a big leak. I mean, I had sprayed quite a bit before I realized that it was wet and soaked through. It took a whole 2 weeks or so, 3 weeks to let it dry. And yes, I did put a fan on it. I've been blowing the vent fan here just to keep the smell under control. But for now, I think all I'm going to do is just put a temporary floor down. Use the city water on in the container like I have been doing, because I do not want to rip this floor up. Not yet. Not right now. I've got to try to finish up the rest of the RV and make sure it's secured in the event that I have to move it, you know, and get things down and functional. Bathroom is usable. I will probably clear this out and try a shower in here again once I fix this shower access knob here. That way I can actually shower in here and then see if the leak forms. So I'll do that before I put a floor down. But otherwise, I'm just gonna put a new floor on top of this mess. And I know you guys are freaking out because you think that's mold. It's not. But the other thing you need to know about mold is the mold has to have moisture to stay alive, because if it's dry, it will die. So once you stop the source of the moisture, the water, the mold dies. So that, you know, that's why I'm not too concerned about it. The issue would be if there was water continuing to go there, then the mold will continue to grow. But for now, it looks like it's under control. I am going to put a fake floor on it, probably one of those, a piece of the $9 panel, not permanent, but just so it's a little bit neater looking, and start trying to get the bathroom usable, because I still need to do the panels along the ceiling here, and close this off and get that light mounted. Just wanted to also give you guys a quick glimpse here. I know you've probably seen the episode where I started to put up the ceiling. I had my wife actually came out to try to help me, because trying to put up these long panels by yourself is like pretty much impossible, even with these beams that I put up to help hold everything in place. And whoops, got kind of a mess here. Man, this splattered everywhere. You can see it's splattering when it hits. It's like, so this is going to be an ongoing thing when you run the AC. I don't know if you can see how much water is actually collecting here. I'm debating whether or not I want to close that off and then put some insulation on top of it, and that might keep it from condensating. This is an effect like you have when you get a soda can that's super cold and you put it in the heat and it starts to sweat. So it's not like a leak per se, it's water being generated by the air conditioning, and most of it's flowing outside of the vehicle. But on the inside, it's got all this metal, which is attracting any moisture and making it drip. Although I see a lot of water there. Look at all that water. That is an awful lot of water right there. I don't know if you can see how much water that is. That is a lot of water. So I'm looking here and seeing if I can somehow figure this out. You can see the coils are there, the air conditioner, and it literally is sucking. It's leaking there and sucking here. So maybe I can rig a hose or something. It literally is just, look at that. It's making water come there, and then it's sucking it over to this side and then bringing it down. That's not good. Let me figure out. And then there's another spot over here too. I don't know if you guys can see all that water. That's not good. Oh boy. Yeah, but it's so powerful. It's literally sucking it across, hitting the wall, and coming down to my little bucket. So I had to rig something. This is, see the water literally is running down from the coil. I can't believe how much it's flowing. It's almost like water is turned on like a faucet up there. And yes, there is no faucet up there. But looking at how much water is flowing, it's like a water faucet up there. I didn't think it was that much until I just looked up just now with this light. Because before I couldn't, you know, when I don't have light on it, you can't see up there. Now that I see it with a light, I'm like, well, now we can actually see where the water's coming from. And it's a lot of water. So I appreciate all of you with your suggestions. And yes, I know the floor needs to be ripped up. I think the floor does indeed need to be ripped up, but that's eventually to do the proper fix. I'm thinking that when you rip it up, but see, I don't know, without schematics. I'm thinking that when you rip up the floor, we're going to find pipes or hoses under there, and it has split, or more than likely, it's going to be a pipe, and at the seam where two pieces join, there's a slight loose stuff there because of when I put the water pressure on it. That's probably what went wrong. Or they might even have hoses. I don't know how they do the wiring, the piping inside an RV. It might be hoses, because hoses would be easier to deal with than pipes. So some of you are going to tell me that it's leaking under there right now, even with the water from the tank, and you may be correct. Although I haven't really been hearing the pump going off, unless it's the tick, 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 tick that I hear. But the tick, 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 I think is the sound of the inverter or the power converter. Because when the pump goes off, you can definitely feel it and hear it, and it goes, that's what it sounds like when it goes off. So I'm thinking that under tank pressure, you know, with the water from the tank itself, it's not really causing it to leak. It's only happening when I put the hose up to it, and it's squirting up into the floor. So hopefully everything is dried out. We're going to go ahead and just put a fake floor on it, nothing permanent, but just something so that we can have something nice to stand on instead of this splintery stuff. And I'll keep my eye on it. I will try using the shower itself. Try to rig it so that the water squirts from the shower so I can shower in here. But I'll do that after I get the ceiling up and everything working and the bathroom looking nice. Because most of the rest of the RV is coming together. It is starting to look and feel like a home. The appliances are working. I know this is a mess. You don't need to tell me to clean up. I know. But I'm in process of finishing things. It'll be a lot better, I promise you, once things are done. But for now, this is just functional. I'm just making it so I can use it. And I know some of you keep saying, you need to clean up that mess. Where do I put this stuff? I can't really put things in storage, okay? This is storage. Some of you are thinking I have a garage or some place where I can put all this stuff. When I am in construction mode and I have all these big panels and stuff, the only place to keep them is here in the RV itself. I can't set it outside. So that's why you're seeing all these piles of stuff and components. But as I put them up, they kind of get put up. And then the other thing is leftover parts that aren't used or leftovers are thrown away. So you'll see the RV start to clear more and more and more and become more of a nicer living space. But for now, it's functional. My kids can come by, my wife can come by, and we can actually be a family again. We can cook, we can eat, we can sit, we can watch TV. My heartfelt gratitude and just thank you so much for all of you who are sending me positive vibes, sending well wishes and thoughts, because I know it may not seem like it's a lot, but it is a lot when you're dealing with this every day, you know, working all day, coming back to deal with this, and seeing or reading, you know, the positive well thoughts, well wishes and prayers that people are sending this way, as well as those of you who are contributing directly via Patreon or PayPal or whatever, has lifted my spirits immensely and let me know that everything's going to be all right. Thank you so much for your continued prayers and kind thoughts. I wanted to let you know that I am also thinking of each and every one of you, especially those of you who are in your van right now. I know it's been like extremely hot. Temperature has been like over like 100 with outside and with the heat index. So those of you who are still in your vans, especially if you don't have air conditioning, I really, really do feel for you, because I know what that's like. I lived in Florida in my van for the past 8 years, through the summer in South Florida, which is even worse. So I know what it's like, and maybe I'll do an episode. Not maybe, I will definitely do an episode about what you can try to do to stay cool. But the reality of it is that really the only way to stay cool in a vehicle is to get out of that vehicle and go into a place that has air conditioning. So that would be my quick tip right now before I do that episode. But if you can get into air conditioning, try to get into air conditioning like at a store or whatever. Definitely don't be sitting in your car or your van during the daytime in the heat. Heat stroke is real. And just wanted to warn some of you, one of the symptoms of heat stroke, and you may be getting heat stroke, is if you start itching like crazy, irritably all over your body, and you can't seem to stop. It's one of the symptoms of being dehydrated. So you need to drink lots of fluid and try to get yourself into air conditioning if you're feeling that. Now, I remember when I was in the van before the RV, before I got to sit here with the AC running and stuff, I was itching, and it didn't dawn on me that was one of the symptoms of severe dehydration. So I'm going to put it out right now that if you are having your skin's itching uncontrollably, and you're outside in your van, you may be experiencing extreme dehydration, and you want to drink lots of liquids, especially like water and maybe Gatorade or something to refill your body with electrolytes. And also try to get into a building to have some air conditioning. I may do an episode, even though Blue doesn't need it, on how to install air conditioning inside a van and still be somewhat stealth about it. But the issue with installing an air conditioner is you're going to need power. You're going to need 120 volts at least to run it. So that means you need to have a hookup somewhere at a friend's house or a spot that you can rent. That would be the most ideal. Otherwise, you're going to need a generator and gasoline to run that to keep yourself cool. But we'll go ahead and do a build out on Blue to try to show how to basically survive the heat. But what I did to survive the heat was I essentially had fans. I have 3 fans inside the little Bluetooth, all running off the house battery system. But I only ran like usually 1 or 2 of them, even though I had enough power to run all 3 for the whole night. But it would drain the battery almost out, so I tried to run just like 1 or 2 at the most, but usually just 1. Anyhow, I'm going to sign out because I'm blabbering on and on, but wanted to let you guys know the status of the RV as of today, what's going on. I know you're looking at this mess, but I'm looking at it too. And I've just been trying to clean things up and get them organized, and basically just install appliances and stuff and get this RV to start to behave more and feel more like a home. So until next time, everyone, take care. God bless you all. Please stay safe. Bye-bye now.